Hello guys, welcome back. So this is the second video to our lesson in similarity and similar figures and proportion. Okay, so again, what we did here is identify similar figures, and the last thing we did here is to find the missing side. Okay, so GH here was X, and we figured out that it was 51.9. Okay, that's from the previous video. All right, so let's start with this problem, right? So again, it's very important that you are, regardless of how the figure looks, okay? So because a figure can look distorted or rotated or whatever, the most important part to this is the similarity statement, okay? So you need to be able to identify which angles are congruent from the similarity statement. That's where you want to start. So A matches with E, so we know that A matches with E. And then we have B matching up with F. So B matches up with F. All right, so this is a nice orientation. C matches up with G. Okay, it's not always going to be this nice. And then D matches up with H. Okay, oops, I'm sorry, forgot the C in purple. Okay, and G. All right, so now D matches up with H. Okay, so now that we have our color-coded, it's easier for us to identify which sides correspond. So between the green and the blue is a 4, and we know that 4 has to correspond with this green and this blue, right? So that's EF. Okay, so we know 4 corresponds with X plus 3. All right, sorry, that's a 4. That kind of looked like a 9 there. All right, scrub off the top. Okay, so now we have equals, and then we can set up this proportion. This blue and this purple matches up with this blue and this purple, so that's a 3. So 3 matches up with 2x minus 4. All right. All right, so now that we have our proportion, we are ready to solve. So we will solve the same way we did before, and that is called cross multiplying. We are multiplying this 4 to this group 2x minus 4. All right, so when you do that, times 2x minus 4, when you do that, you want to apply the distributive property. So that becomes 8x minus 16. All right, so you want to be careful. All right, and now we are multiplying this x plus 3, this group of x plus 3, with this 3. Okay, so again, we're taking 3 and we're multiplying it with x plus 3. We have to use the distributive property. So 3 times x becomes 3x, and 3 times 3 becomes 9. All right, and you guessed it, now we're back to algebra 1. Okay, so now we're going to move the 3x over to the other side. All right, and that would become 5x minus 16 equals 9. And then we add the 16 to both sides. That gives us 5x. 5x equals 25. And then x equals, 5. All right, so that is your final answer. All right, that gives us what x is equal to. And if we needed to find the length of each figure, of the bigger figure, we can just plug in x back into the equation right here. So now we know EF is 8, right? 2 times 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. And now 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at another example. Let's take a look at this example. It says triangle MNP is congruent to triangle XYZ. All right, so again, this is very important. Please use a highlighter or something colorful, right? X and M matches together, so M and X match together. So again, that's a different orientation, okay? And then N and Y matches together, N and Y matches. And then P and Z matches, P and Z matches, all right? So now let's take a look at our corresponding sides. So we know that in between blue and yellow is x plus 5, and we must look for the blue and yellow. So blue here and yellow here, so that's 30. So now we know x plus 5 matches up with the 30, okay? And then we look at this example right here, 4x minus 10, that's Pn matches up with zy. So we know that Pn is 4x minus 10, and that matches up with zy up here. Okay, so 75, right? The numbers are quite large, but again, if you're having a hard time, please you can use a calculator, right? So Now let's cross multiply. So we're multiplying these two, right? This is an expression by the 75. So 75 times x plus 5. All right, let's do that one first. That becomes 75x, right? So now 75 times 5 becomes 375. All right, let's take a look at the other side. So now we multiply 30 by this, 4x minus 10. All right, so 30 times 4x is 120x, and then 30 times negative 10 is negative 300, okay? All right, so we're getting somewhere. So now we subtract 75x from both sides. All right, and so 120 minus 75 becomes 45. X minus 300 equals 375. Okay, so now we want to add the 300 to both sides. All right, and that becomes 675 equals 45x. And now we divide by 45. All right, so, and that becomes 15. So x is equal to 15. Okay, and that is it. Thank you for watching.